Thank you. For those of you who are here for the governor's ball only, it is starting now. In the 1978 New Yorker profile of Johnny Carson, Kenneth Tynan describes an audience question and answer segment that Johnny was doing on The Tonight Show. An audience member asked, "What made you a star?" Johnny replied, "I started out in a gaseous state and then I cooled." On October 23, 1925, Johnny Carson began his life in the gaseous state of Iowa, and long before he retired on May 22, 1992, he had become the biggest star in the history of television. His final show was watched by 50 million Americans. With all due respect to the laws of astrophysics, Johnny Carson's star never cooled. In its 60-year history, television has spawned other enormous stars, yet none of these greats meant as much to the daily lives of the people of this country for so long as Johnny Carson. For 30 years, the nearly routine morning question was, "Did you see Johnny last night?" For 30 years, Johnny was America's host. The old Sophocles line, "One must wait until the evening to see how splendid the day has been," certainly applied to the night show. You didn't really know how your day had been until you saw Johnny and his friends, Karnak, Aunt Blabby, Floyd Arturbo, and my favorite, Art Fern. Whenever I'm driving on the freeways of Southern California, I still think about cutting off my Slauson. Johnny's guests were the biggest names in entertainment and politics in a constant parade of hopeful newcomers. And speaking from personal experience, you were not really a comedian unless you had appeared on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Johnny gave me and countless others validation, true status in show business, and a career. But it wasn't all movie stars, singers, politicians, and comics. Little kids, old people, and zoo animals all were showcased with the same aplomb afforded the greats. Then, of course, there was the monologue, Johnny's nightly 24-joke summary of world events, big and small. Johnny's monologue was like the New York Times. It was the nightly television comedy of record. And if a joke bombed with a sly look of withering disdain, Johnny made that the funniest moment of the night. This was the true magician in Johnny Carson. All so easy, so effortless. In a culture that indiscriminately invokes the gold standard as a measure of judgment, Johnny Carson was platinum. For 30 years, he glimmered to a soft, steady brilliance. And for those who got here too late to witness the genius of Johnny Carson, it is unlikely they will ever know television that provides such wit, charm, intelligence, and grace. In the same New Yorker profile, Kenneth Tynan asks a New York journalist whether he could define in a single word what made television different from every other form of entertainment. The journalist replied, "Carson." Every night in 4 different decades, Johnny Carson put Americans to bed, making them feel a little better about how the day had been, and perhaps even making it splendid. Ladies and gentlemen, once more, here's Johnny.
And now, here's Johnny!
You're Joanne who?
Carol Andresen.
Carol Andresen. You're 2 different girls?
Yes.
Say the secret word and Grouch will come to your house.
I've got to see a doctor because there's something wrong with me. What can it be?
I want to say something. I'm very glad to be here. You know, when you come on last, you ever get the feeling that the world was a tuxedo and you were a pair of brown shoes?
Dippity-doo.
Dippity-doo.
What form's on your dippity early in the morning? You see, if you look an animal right in the face and talk to them, then they know you're not scared. You're governor now of Arkansas till 1991?
That's right.
Yeah. Where are you looking beyond that, politically, or are you?
Depends on how I do on the show tonight.
See this? That's a quarter, right? Now, if I take it and hold it, and I give it to you, would you hold it for me? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Now, watch very carefully. Okay, here it is. And you hold it. It's right over here, your ear. You ready?
Make that really disappear.
What? How do I make it you get married?
Maybe I should have saved those leftover dreams. Funny, but here's that rainy day.
Where is that worn-out wish that I threw aside after it brought my love so near? Funny how love becomes a cold, rainy day. Funny that rainy day is here.
It has been an honor and a privilege to come into your homes all these years and entertain you. I bid you a very heartfelt good night.